Hello fellow engineers and welcome back to Factorio. My name is Nasty. This is an emergency video because I just found out that in version 2.0.69 of Factorio, they released an optimization to silos that was not reported. And it makes all of a sudden a huge difference for silo chesting. So let me explain this. So for those who watched the chemical science video, you would have seen this wonderful design that was created by you here that basically wound up just going and using a whole bunch of silo chests. In the conclusion of that video, we saw that the performance of having 5 ships overhead, even requesting nothing, as this one here is doing, wound up still having a very high space platform update time. Well, when looking at this now that we've updated 2.0.69, if you look at our space platform update time, it's near nothing. So before, we were hovering around basically 0.7 milliseconds of update time for space platforms. So let me explain how this works now. So apparently in this version, what it does is it checks the inventory of the space platform hub, and only when it's sure that it can need to request something from the surface will it actually go and start to scan all the silos that are on the surface. So why does this matter? So let's give a couple examples here. So if we have, for example, right now we don't have turbo transport belts, and they are being asked to be imported from Vulcanus. So that's already ignored. So we don't have any updates from that. Previously, they would still be constantly scanning the surface anyway. So now, if I go over here and I select Novice, you're going to see the space platform time start to creep up. So it will, in this case, it's still not as high as it used to be. So before, this used to be 0.7 milliseconds of update time, and I'll show a clip of that here in a second, or just as an overlay right now as I'm talking. So now that we're seeing that this is hovering now just around 0.2 ms of update time, the interesting part is now if I go back and I say, well, I just want this from Vulcanus, well, you're going to see that it's going to say, cool, I have everything that I need. I have no reason to go and request anything from the planet's surface. So what's interesting about that too is, for example, right now I am requesting fusion power cells from Novice. So if I remove that from the space platform's inventory, you're going to see that this is going to go up. But the moment that we have, some of it here, you're going to see that this is still requesting it. And then the space platform time actually though goes completely down to 0 again the moment that we have 50 fusion power cells again in here. So what that means is the cost of hovering above Novice with space platforms, if they're not requesting anything from Novice, or they already have their inventory satisfied, the cost of all of these rocket silos that happen to be just sitting here on the planet's surface are completely, that cost goes completely away, and it doesn't matter at all. So just to showcase this, I wound up running a benchmark comparing version 2.0.69 with 2.0.66 to get a comparison, and I used design that you're seeing right now in front of you to compare it against the version 2.0.66 that I ran a couple weeks ago. So if we look at that, let me go and open that up. You can see immediately how much of a difference this makes. So before, because of all those silos, we were here just for documentation purposes. 714 microseconds of update time was being contributed to those space platforms hovering above Novice, and them constantly scanning all the silo inventories, even though it had no requests that it needed. And now that is 4 microseconds. That basically means that is a huge decrease. As you can see, this whole space platform time is basically next to nothing now. That's a super exciting optimization. So where is this actually useful, right? Like, okay, this is probably not going to be super useful for Novice, but where I think this can be really useful is for planets like Fulgora. So let me take you to that and I'll explain kind of what I'm thinking with that. Okay, this is a pretty decent example. This is my current actual megabase that's running worker robot speed. And right now, this is the only ship that travels between here and Fulgora. So Fulgora is where I use a lot of rocket silos. So you'll probably see the space platform time skyrocket the moment that this gets over Fulgora. And you're going to see that basically this goes up. By skyrocket, it's not bad. This is basically 0.3 or so milliseconds of update time. So as a comparison, and that's because now it's requesting this. And the actual number of rocket silos that are actually on the planet are a substantial amount. So if you go back over to Fulgora and you look at this, right, like the number of rocket silos that are here, it's not excessive, but there are definitely, well, okay, that's not true. It is pretty excessive. There's a lot of rocket silos that are in this particular vicinity. So right now, though, like the amount of time, if we look at it, that it's actually orbiting the planet here, before, like, this is probably not going to impact this as much. But what I'm noticing right now is that, okay, this is basically going to take a few of these. And what I'm curious about is at what point will this base platform time go down as this is requesting it? Is it at the point where you have everything satisfied and then does it jump back down or not? So let's watch this for a second and we'll see what actually happens. So right now we have on the way 264,000. That's the remainder of the amount that we're actually going to need. So at this point, it's still not satisfied, but it's on the way. So let's continue to watch base platform update time. It's 0.3, and we are still, and we can even like pause it so that it just sits above Fulgora for a little bit of time here. We can just let it just sit here. And let's watch it so that it doesn't immediately leave, because the moment that it has all its requests satisfied, it'll leave immediately. So let's see. We only have 20,000 left to go. All right, we are completely satisfied now with the amount that we actually need. And space platform time has not gone down. I was expecting that to be a lot more substantial sitting here over it. Go back into automatic mode and let's let it fly away. Now, this could also be that this went up a little bit because I have right now my Prometheum ship running. Knowing that that exists, like, well, we'll go with this. So right now, going with the fact that, and what I can do is I can just jump into the editor and we can just delete the two different platforms that are these two here, because I don't currently need them. So we'll just do this just for the testing purposes. So let's delete this surface, and then let's go over here, and same thing, let's delete this surface. All right, great. And then let's look at space platform time as well here. So I have this one that's going, oh, this is a freight. This one also goes over it. So yeah, I have one freight ship that flies over all of them. Okay, so space platform time is basically next to nothing at the moment. So the moment that this gets to Fulgora, I'm curious what gets updated. This is probably a better test now that we actually have this hovering over. Okay, so we can see that it increases, not a whole bunch, but a little bit from all those silos as it activates. Okay, that's good. So we have instantly launching 132,000. And the reason I want to check this is because I'm really curious now if it's better to just have everything go in one volley, because if everything is on the way, quote unquote, that might actually be like an improvement now, because technically the requests would be satisfied for what it needs. There's nothing else to request, nothing else to scan, so I'm curious at which point this actually happens. So what I'm curious about is if, like right now we're seeing that what's available in rocket silos, just when it launched, there's 264,000 on the way. That's not the full satisfaction of what is being requested. So we're seeing the space platform update time is still like 0.19, sometimes all the way up to 0.2 milliseconds of update time. I'm curious about, is it a request satisfied condition? Like, does it physically have to be in the cargo of the space platform hub? Or is it just that the moment that, like just now, yeah, there you go. There's everything is now on the way, and we're now hovering at 0.09, 0.1 milliseconds of update time. So we literally just had a reduction in half. So there actually might be a point in actually now adding more rocket silos so that you volley everything in one shot so that you have the full satisfaction in one go, rather than buffering it in chests. That's a really fascinating meta shift. Okay, that's something that I really want to explore here. Not in this video, but it's something I do want to actually be checking, because like that reduction is huge. So just for good measure, let's just go ahead and test it one more time. And I just want to go ahead and just run it again, and let's see what happens. Yep, so there we go. So we see like the moment that this is all launching right now, we've got 132,000 on the way. We're going to have to do a reload, so it's scanning all the surface. We went from 0.8 to now double that, 0.17, 0.18, and it's directly as a result of this being over Fulgora at the moment. And I'll even remove this condition just so that we can verify that as well. Not that that particular thing is going to make a difference, but curious about it. So now we have the other half, and yep, space platform time is completely back down to nothing. Okay. So there's a new potential meta to explore. Having more rocket silos might actually be better now. Alright, I love that. Cool. Alright, so that's some fun updates. So yeah, so that is an update on rocket silos and silo chesting. So silo chesting actually might not be so bad if you can just launch everything faster. So having more rocket silos launching at the same time might be actually a good thing. Did not expect that to ever come out of my mouth, but here we are. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was interesting. We'll have eventually I'll do some more benchmarks on this concept, but yeah. So here we are with rocket silos and what you can do with it. So exciting stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. My name is Nasty. See ya.